Henry Kyrgios leading Glasgow today. As I mentioned, the absence of Josh Strauss and Stuart Hooper in the second row for Bath. As skippers, the visitors. And Stuart Hogg back in today at full back. He's got a huge boot as well as that gifted running game, so I'm sure we'll see a few decent punts. The referee today from France is Jérôme Garcès, an all-French officiating team. Man who turned 41 yesterday, but still a very, very decent referee. Gets about the park well, and we're looking forward to this with glorious conditions here at Scotstoun. And we are just about ready for the opening match for these two sides in the European Rugby Champions Cup. A new competition, but the same intensity. And Ford gets us underway for Bath. And it's Johnny Gray going up for Glasgow to take it down. Doesn't quite have the same giant height of his elder brother Richie Gray, but a very, very canny operator in the second row. This is a good driving maul as well for Glasgow. Little boost for them early on. And just being held at the back. A little pause, and then still going. Encouraging signs there. Good take by Horn, and the kick is not so good. Out on the full it goes. So some good stuff from Glasgow, and then a little bit of a misjudgment.
Yeah, what a contrast. The forwards, outstanding. Received from the kick-off. Good driving maul. Look at that. It's a 22 just there, and they drove it all the way up beyond the 10-yard line. Good structure, good body angles. You can see Bath trying to stop it, but they weren't able to. Rob Harley joins to put a bit of weight in, but then Peter Horn kicked down the full. What was a very good start became a disappointing one.
Well, there's Ross Batty in for Rob Webber today in the first line-out. A little bit messy and went forward, so Glasgow will have the scrum, the Warriors, to give them their grandiose title. But I'm looking forward to this first scrum, actually, Andy, because I'm not sure either side was too pleased with their scrummaging efforts last week, and this entirely new front row for Bath. It's one of much promise. I mean, Henry Thomas on the tight head is a real talent, and Nick Oterak on the loose head.
It was an interesting selection. They said, Mike Ford said it was just down to almost fatigue, not a Raheem Sterling fatigue, but I think they've had 6 games, and when it's been back to back, and they've really been up against it. So let's see how they get on in this scrum.
I think that scrum went pretty much as we all expected.
Yeah, good. This side is good.
So Jérôme Garcès just coming across the other side to have a look. I see some canny operators in there. Ewan Murray on the tight head for Glasgow.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Sort of straight, in that it wasn't really, but the referee lets it go. But then Bath penalty.
This is one of the big issues with the scrums. Pat MacArthur doesn't hook the ball, so the ball just stays there, and you almost, if we see it again, he almost tries to hook it with his knee because he doesn't want to come out of the driving position, that they're obviously taught to do that.
I can hear Brian Moore fulminating somewhere, but if feeds are as squint as that, then hookers don't have to hook, so they just almost abandon the art completely.
If your scrum has been creaking, as it has done last week against Ulster, it did, you want to get the ball to the base of the scrum as quickly as possible. That comes from a hook, so get it in, get it out as quickly as possible.
So there's a first shot at goal for George Ford. And the wind is still fairly brisk. It's coming across from his right-hand side from the south as he kicks. He certainly will take some adjustment. Beautiful kick, lovely kick. Always nice to hear silence save the thump of boot on ball, and a wonderful opening from George Ford, and Bath take the early lead.
Yeah, very respectful crowd here at Scotstoun. They get right behind the Warriors, but they're very respectful to the opposition. That was a good kick, because this is a really swirling wind here at Scotstoun today. You can see the season's averages. There's not much between these sides whatsoever. They've both been playing very well. The offloads you can see there by Glasgow, that epitomises how they want to play the game, an offloading game.
Wheels restart was taken in by Hooper, and then Young gets it away. No pressure coming in on Ford there. A good take by Hogg, but he was swiftly piled into touch.
But there's the difference of a good kick. Pete Horn put in a bad kick. That was a good kick by George Ford that just stayed in field when Stuart Hogg took it. He got tackled into touch, and now Bath have the line out on their own 10-yard line, as opposed to going out the full.
Batty's second line out, and the crowd thought it was a little bit squint, but the officials happy. There's Dom Day just laying it back, thinking about it, then carrying himself. Mickey Young shouting a few instructions. Glasgow trying to usher everyone towards touch, but it's still with Bath, and a first chance to catch a glimpse of Kyle Eastman. And then Ford, and Hogg is waiting for this one. Plenty of ground in front of him. Does like to spiral those kicks, but finding only Ford this time. Up it goes from Henson. Maitland waiting this time. Maitland has pace and has support outside as well. And Glasgow with some options down this side and carried on. And Seymour was there. Wide it goes Ewan Murray. Went backwards, says the referee, but it still comes to Bath. Mistake by the prop. And little poke through from Eastman. And just keeping Glasgow back. Pyrgos into Maitland. And he doesn't find touch either. And Ford again. Just a little poke forward. It's well placed just outside the 22 and came off Glasgow hands. Bath have the ball and they have a chance to attack now. This is good play. Batty's there, the hooker, up to the 22.
Vintage over.
Ford again, sizing things up and just shrugs off a tackle or two and then carried on by Mercer. Thomas is there. Front row does his bit. And Bath edging forward. There is Rokundunguni, but a huge hit comes in. Still with Bath. And David Ceci. Huge presence at number 8. Bath with plenty of phases here and some good hands and space appearing. Oh, lovely pass, but it just can't quite find Rokundunguni. But Bath threatening in the early exchanges.
Well, that was a breathless passage of play, because that was after so many kicks that stayed in field, testing the fitness. But look, watch the structure that Bath play there with the wrap around. George Ford, that goes to hand. That's Watson in for a run and try, even though there was some coverage. Good start by Bath. They're getting in behind, they're getting their arms free in the tackle, Andrew, and it's just allowing them to get in behind the defence.
It's Rokundunguni just about had it, actually looking second time at that pass. It was a little bit loose, but Glasgow have the line out safely. A little breakaway group makes a bit of ground, trying to buy their kicker a few extra yards, and Pyrgos himself takes it on, sends it down the line, and Ceci is there. Henson inside. Oh, and again the crowd, I think Henson had overrun that, or Ceci delayed it, but it was forward, and that is a big mistake.
I think the referee gave that in a combination of the Glasgow Warriors crowd here and the 10-yard line, because he passes it from behind and it goes forward. Now,
well, I think that's marginal.
I think the Glasgow crowd in front of us thought otherwise. It might have influenced the referee.
These things happen at home games. The extra man is the crowd and their influence, and it gives Glasgow a very good position with options either side. But they need better from their scrum.
They do. They need a solid platform. They need to get a hook. This is where I think Henry Purgus could have a look at Dominic Day. He's only playing the back row for the first time, and we can see him on this side of the scrum. So I think they're trying to protect him by having Mercer on the other side, who's more used to defending at scrum time from the back row. Sensible play defensively by Bath.
Well, it's almost a repeat performance. The ball just sitting and eventually comes back. And wide it goes now, and Seymour's there, and he gets it now. And pass from Horn, and good strength from Seymour on the wing. And there is Adam Ash, the youngster at number 8 in Glasgow, their first adventure into the 22. Pyrgos thought he saw a way through, and it was quickly shut by the white shirts. Nakarawa in the second row. He loves to offload, even in risky situations, gets it away there. Glasgow again, options either side. The referee's arm outstretched as he playing advantage. There is carry from Saro is there, sitting behind but not used. Johnny Gray, and Glasgow up to within 10 metres. Duncan Weir, little switch around and straight through, and it may well be a try for Glasgow, and in goes Mark Bennett. Found the line, got the ball, and scored the try to give Glasgow the lead. Well, we're going to ask to see where did that space come from. May not be a try yet.
Watching it live, I don't see any reason not to, but sometimes in this situation, if he's looking, apologies, my French is not that good to understand what the question is, but if it is obstruction, sometimes in these situations you can see something in slow motion that you do not see live.
Well, let's say Jean-Marie Piraveau is the French TMO, so we shall try and interpret as best we can. The stadium announcer has already given the try, but well, we have to look obviously a long way before, unless he's looking at checking the grounding. Oh well,
the grounding, that's fine.
He's got it down there eventually.
Yeah, he's got control. I don't think they need to.
But I didn't hear the question he was asking. Also, it was in a second language. But I wondered if he was asking if there was something which happened earlier on.
I think he's definitely asked about the grounding, hence why we're seeing these replays, because he'll be asking for it. If it is, and that's the only question, that is a try for Glasgow Warriors.
Ok, Jérôme, oui. Je vois aucune raison pour que tu refuses pas l'essai.
No reason to not give the try. That's why I spent 5 years studying French. Try for Mark Bennett, and a great way for Glasgow to hit back.
Absolutely. What a comeback from Mark Bennett. Last week against Ulster, he was knocked out from a choke tackle. He was unconscious on the pitch, and everyone was very concerned, as you'd imagine. But what a comeback. A Lazarus-like comeback to come back and score the first try in this European tie.
And swiftly and easily converted by Duncan Weir, so Glasgow the first try and a 4-point lead.
Some good forwards up here. Johnny Gray hitting it up here. Duncan Weir, you can see in the pocket and just controlling things, and he brings it across there. It's a good step, but that's poor defence from Bath. Bath you shouldn't get through on an easy 10-12 cut like that.
Well, there's much lauding of the centre, the young centres of Eastman and Joseph for Bath, but certainly Mark Bennett's a bright talent for Glasgow and possibly for Scotland. He's not the biggest centre in the world, but he has some skills.
That field position emanated from a counter-attack, and Glasgow Warriors back three of Stuart Hogg, Sean Maitland and Tommy Seymour, really exciting. They always look to run with the ball in hand when they've got receive a kick. Very exciting back three.
And Johnny Gray saying, come on, as Bath a leisurely walk forward to this line out. And Batty going to Atwood again. And Stuart Hogg loitering. Oh, just landed just out of the shadow. This is awkward now, and this may well be something for Joseph. Oh, and it sits up beautifully, and it's try for Jonathan Joseph and for Bath. And that is a gift.
Absolute gift, and having just topped up the back three, Stuart Hogg just has a howler. You can only counter-attack once you've secured the ball, and this swirling ball, the swirling wind may have caused this, but that was a basic mistake. You see here is a good line out from Bath, and it's just a simple kick. Can't really see the ball. You can see from his movement it is moving around, but he's got to take that. But Joseph just follows it up like all good centres do, hoping that something might happen, and it did. That's a terrible start after the try for Glasgow.
I think there might be some tries in this match. some more tries. Ford, simple conversion, and Bath 3 points in front again. Just drifting away, as we said, that is the way the wind is going from us here in the stand, away from Stuart Hogg. And it just sat up beautifully for Jonathan Joseph.
He scored a lot of good tries this season, not as easy as that, but you could see the speed that Stuart Hogg went into that ball would suggest that the ball was moving in the air quite a lot, but still he'd be disappointed not to take it.
So 12 minutes gone, 30 minutes gone, a couple of tries already. Young's clearing kick, almost up to halfway.
7 black.
Young in for Chris Cook, who started against Wasps last week. Interesting game against Wasps in the Premiership last week. Bath had 3 players sin-binned. So Mickey Young was one of them after he'd won, but Bath had a great comeback there, not quite good enough. And here they have the early lead, and Gray takes it in for Glasgow. Nakarawa offloads to Pyrgos on his own down this near side. And penalty to the visitors.
He just got exposed. The call had been for it to go back to Duncan Weir and a move to take place. So Tommy Seymour, the left wing, vacated his position. So when Nakawara picked up, went down the blind side, Henry Pyrgos had nobody with him. The defence was there, and hence they got the turnover. It wasn't Tommy Seymour's fault. He'd been called into open field.
We were highlighting beforehand, weren't we, the offloading of Nakarawa. He last season had, I mean, he was so far out in front in the offloading charts. He does that's what he does. He loves to get the ball away.
It is, but sometimes it can be exposed. And you see Henry Pyrgos is there. There's 3 Bath players before another Warriors player gets to them. Hence the turnover. And a good position was lost because of no support.
Numbers. Are you happy, Black? Play on. Yes.
So everyone doing a head count at the line-out, and we're ready to go again. And Bath's line-out working seamlessly this time. Oh, good thump there coming in. There's good strength from Kyle Eastman.
No ends.
Cece taking it in. Mercer gets it wide, and here is Jonathan Joseph again. And Ford trying to prod it through, but he has to go back now. Nakarawa's there, but infield to Henson. Just gets his kick away. Past Seymour, and taken in by Peter Horn. On to Bennett, and Bennett looking for support now. Good pacey play by Glasgow into the Bath half, and Hogg on to Fizarro, and the open side flanker has a bit of zip about him.
Stay.
Over the head of Harley to MacArthur.
No ends, 3 wide.
There's Nakarawa again. There's the offload with a giant hand stretches, gets it away. Risky, but it comes off. There is Ash. Weir. Not too many options out there. Limited personnel for Glasgow. Back they come again, though, stringing together the phrases. Maitland gets it away well. And advantage to Glasgow as well, as Jerome Gus's arm stretches out. So, well, a heave to the skies, a chance at a fumble, but they knew they had the penalty coming.
Yeah, lots of phases there from Glasgow, and you can see a glimpse of their style of play. The offloading game is wide to wide. Stuart Hogg coming in as first receiver on a number of occasions, but Bath defence held firm, but they recycled it. Glasgow recycled the ball well and finally got the penalty.
Let's give you a score update. Saracens. There we are. Chris Ashton scored for Saracens, but Clermont leads 10-5. A lot of people looking at that after Saracens did a number on Clermont last year. But Saracens trailing at the moment. This is what Nakarawa, we talked about it. He's a tremendous offloader. And he got that one away to Tommy Seymour. Again, we were talking about that sometimes it is risky. It does occasionally bring a turnover or two, but it's great to watch.
It's fantastic. There's not many rugby coaches will thank him for that as their kids turn up tomorrow morning for a session trying that, because it goes against every coaching principle. But at this level, when you know your strengths, he knows he can do it, and he does it very, very effectively.
So penalty attempt for Duncan Weir to draw Glasgow level. Weir allows well for the wins at Scotstoun, and we are level. 18 minutes gone, 10 points apiece. And we suggested beforehand this might be a finely balanced pool and a very close match, and it's certainly proving that so far.
And I think we also thought it was going to be a cracking game, and I think we've had that so far in the first 18 minutes. Both sides wanting to play. It's great conditions, a bit windy, but both sides playing with good intent.
Hogg takes this one safely, and Weir gets away a decent kick down that far side.
You look at that, the wide shot we just saw there, the flags on the far side of Scotstoun are now going in Glasgow's favour, whereas earlier they were going in Bath's favour, so it really is swirling. Certainly strong. That doesn't really tell us which direction, but you can see them from that line. Like, look at them, the flags up on top of the stand. This now looks like it's favouring Glasgow.
Well, in boring meteorological fashion, it should be a cross field because it's coming from the south. Doesn't make life easy for those throwing into the line out either. Batty gets this one safely to his men. Just. And the Bath forwards do a bit of donkey work. Mercer at the heart. And there is Domday. For just getting that kick in again, testing Hogg, because Joseph was there as well, but Hogg wins that aerial battle, then feeds it to the Worms, and Fusaro takes the hits from Day. That stands strong. There's Johnny Gray. There's Nakarawa again, tries it again, comes off again. Seymour. So just lost forward, or did the pass go forward? I think
there is the best and the worst of Nakawara, because the offload was outstanding, but he tries to pick up again in the tackle situation at the very end. Look, here's it, almost similar to the last one. He offloads it to Seymour. Seymour gets tackled well there by Henson. We'll see it closer up here. It's another great offload. Look at that, outstanding again. Frees his arm up. Seymour takes it in.
But Glasgow know if they get someone on his shoulder by hook or by crook, he's going to get the ball to them.
But then watch it here. We'll just see the big mitt comes down, and he tries to pick up with one hand there, and he knocks on. There it is there, knocked on there. He was trying to do exactly what he'd done before, picking up from the tackle. It's an outstanding take by Stuart Hogg under severe pressure from Jonathan Joseph.
Yes, after that early fumble as well, there was a bit of pressure on Hogg, but this was the try from Mark Bennett, and wonderful feet and balance, and eventually got that ball down. And this was the mistake by Hogg, and Joseph, the hack on. Up she comes, and under the posts.
Good platform, guys. Good platform.
Well, that's why we're level at 10 points apiece, a penalty each as well.
And it has been very, very evenly balanced. It's a great crowd here at Scotstoun. The extra seating and terracing are full. It's a sellout 7,000, which is great to see. And a good pitch, and both sides wanting to play. Apart from at scrum time.
Come here. Keep walking. Keep walking. Yeah. No.
This aspect of the game is the only time in a match between these two sides we're going to have a pause, because they do play such entertaining rugby. But the scrums.
Bind. Sit.
Supporter given on either side there, and eventually Glasgow get the squeeze and they get the penalty as well. And Pyrgos is away quickly on his own though, then finds support and space opens up. Horn is there. Wide it comes an Ash. Hogg gets a little bit behind Maitland, but keeps that ball alive for Glasgow. MacArthur gets it back as well, and Pyrgos has been quite bright around the fringes, but this time goes only backwards. So Weir ships it out and forwards out to Nakarawa again. Again, just pops it out, and a good hand coming in there, but an illegal hand from Rokundunguni, so advantage to Glasgow. And they'll have that penalty. A few hopeful characters in the Glasgow supports crying off, off.
I mean, I don't think it was intentional. I think he was going in for the tackle. We'll have a look here.
In the other side, you go.
He's going in for the tackle there rather than intercept, and it just catches him, so it's a penalty. It's not a yellow card. Look at him. I think that's a fair call from Garces.
It's Gordon Reid who had the ball, and it gives Glasgow this pop-it goal for Duncan Weir. And Chris Fasaro, no, it's fine. Two attempts so far, 2 successes. And this one on the angle, 40 metres. Again, just holding it in the breeze, and Duncan Weir 3 from 3, and Glasgow in front.
Gregor Townsend will be fairly happy with large aspects of that first 23 minutes. Disappointed with the try they conceded, and it came almost straight after they'd scored. So this is really important for Glasgow now to get their exit strategy sorted.
Well, Hogg, there's a long restart, and Hogg again spirals one beautifully through the wind almost, and gets some decent ground.
It was a great kick, but I'm sure if he'd left the kick-off, it would have gone dead, and it would have been a scrum back on the halfway line. Because look where he's taken that, running back, that was clear, unless that gives a vicious bounce back, and that's the safety first option. You take that out of the equation by catching it, and then when you've got a boot as good as that, Stuart Hogg ended up making a good decision.
Who is the receiver?
Ross Barty, good one to Hooper. And a penalty to Bath as well.
Sacking the lifter.
Sacking the lifter. Now, if he gets his feet on the ground, you can sack him immediately and collapse them all. That's allowed. If it moves any distance or it's before his feet are on the ground, then it's a correct call there.
Wow, now the Glasgow players disbelieving Pyrgos and Hogg. They're saying, can you have a look at that? Because that's been given as a 5-metre line out. But they said it went the other side of the corner flag. So that's not something you can look at on TV replays. It's a wonderful attacking position now for Bath. And Glasgow have to just settle in and concentrate on the defence rather than any sense of injustice. Hooper again takes it down. Oh, and there we are. It's going to be a penalty again to Bath. Bath want more than 3 points here. Joseph takes it. And still advantage to Bath. And ball bouncing in front of Dom Day. Still advantage to Bath. So still attacking, knowing that penalty is there for them, but there might be more. Jonathan Joseph, support outside, and Joseph goes himself, loses that ball. So penalty back on the other side of the pitch.
You cannot sack the lifter, okay? The penalty is because you sack the lifter. Here is the same penalty. No, you cannot.
So what he's saying there is you can't sack the lifter. So this is the support players, not the jumper, not the guy who's receiving the ball in the line out. The player players supporting it. And that can be very dangerous, but as long as their feet are down, you can sack them all. And this is where Glasgow very quickly have to get in the wavelength of Jérôme Garcès, the referee, because that's 2 penalties back to back.
And Jonathan Joseph down injured. Big decision from Bath here, because they're throwing their lot in with this line out here, saying we believe we can score a try. Again, it goes through Hooper. Glasgow not really challenging there, and now shoring up their defence. But if Bath don't come away with a try here from this choice, not taking the kick at goal, but they have a bit of space now. And Mercer. Glasgow pouring over, and Glasgow now have the ball. Haven't yet cleared it. Pyrgos, now they have the penalty, and that's the best possible result from a Glasgow point of view. Bath, for all that attack, for all the penalties, have nothing.
Yeah, that is a big call. 13-10, this is going to be a tight game. It's very apparent from the first 27 minutes. And I always was of the opinion you take the 3 when it's on offer, when it's almost a guaranteed 3. Ford's not missed one yet. And there was no guarantee that they were going to get a try there, and that was proved.
Well, in a game like that, it is windy, but in a game like this, as you say, it may well come down to fine margins. Take the line out.
This is the end of it. Look, Bath just get completely exposed. Mercer. Now, I thought Glasgow could get penalised for a go off the feet there, but the referee didn't interpret it like that because there was no other Bath player around. And then Mercer doesn't move, and Glasgow able to clear their lines.
So MacArthur delaying, and eventually, well, there's all sorts of confusion there. I think Johnny Gray might have come away with it and tumbled to ground. He was under all sorts of pressure before he even got the ball. Pyrgos sends it high, and there waiting is Rockandunguni, and a wonderful take by Seymour, and Tommy Seymour into the Bath 22. And Glasgow now pouring forward with some pace. There is Bennett, wide it goes. Can Hogg step around his man? Hogg trying to get it away, gets it to Maitland. Maitland flying towards the line, and Maitland is down for the try. When they do attack, they attack so quickly, Glasgow, and there so ruthlessly as well, and so effectively. Maitland with Glasgow's second try.
So there's the potency of the back 3 I was talking about. Tommy Seymour, he's had the ball in hand, but this was from a kick chase. And he went up there and Rockandunguni, and he got up and headed up. Look at the eyes on the ball, great technique. He kept on his feet, but then when it was recycled, and look at the space out here. It's a long ball by Pyrgos. Out to Bennett, he straightens the man, and then Hogg has a little goal. Does enough, though, just to give Maitland the space. A good step. Henson doesn't make much of an attempt, but a great finish. And when the Warriors back 3 get space like this, it is try time. They all did exactly what they needed to do to allow Maitland the space and time to get the try.
Well, scored by one wing, but really made by the other, with Tommy Seymour taking that high ball. There they are, the 2 wide men for Glasgow. Gives a rather wide conversion attempt for Duncan Weir. Tight old angle for the right footer. Just drifted wide towards the end. 5-point try for Glasgow.
What was so good about this try is it comes out here. Mark Bennett could easily have just passed that there, but he straightened the line. Hogg could easily have passed it, but he straightened the line. And all that did was create the space to allow Maitland to get over for the line. 2 very good decisions by Bennett and Hogg.
Last restart from Ford is long, and Pyrgos wheels and returns it. Rockandunguni. See if you can see his skills. Little chip, and he chases it down himself. And went to ground in a challenge from Pyrgos, and Hogg again. Well, just fails to find touch. Ford is there. Henson in field. Ford steps round his man, and there is Henson. So Ford again gives the little short pass to Henry Thomas. There's Batty, good play by Bath, and it's here the support, lovely offload, wonderful stuff, and carried on by Watson. Eastman gives it, and Atwood carries. And Bath step up the pace. Eastman on to Ford and Jonathan Joseph, and wide it goes. And the challenge on Nick Otarak, the loose head prop. Young gets things moving again, carried on by Mercer. Ford behind one man, and not too comfortable there for Eastman. Turned over, and Seymour has to skirt around. Duncan Weir off his laces, and a measured kick, but the advantage is brought back because it wouldn't have been a Glasgow line-out, so penalty Glasgow.
So it was encouraging passage of play by Bath. They're getting just slightly behind, but in general terms, Glasgow Warriors' defence is holding really firm. Johnny Gray in the midfield, where he finds himself defending a lot, is putting in a power of work, which he always does. This was where they were exposed at the end. Adam Ash, Christopher Fasaro are in there. Eastman's never going to be able to recycle that easily when he's exposed like that. And you can see the turnover. Gordon Reid tried to get it away. Couldn't. If they got that away, I think Glasgow were looking very dangerous. But as it turned out, there was an offence, and Glasgow now have a chance to put it deep down into Bath territory and start from the line out.
Kyle Eastman just struggling a little bit. He's being helped back to his feet and helped back to his half.
He's had a hell of a start to the season. I mean, I think the Bath midfield and Ford, Eastman and Joseph are the form centre partnership, midfield partnership. You know, there's maybe been 12 Trees has played well at times, Myler's played well at times, Barrett's played well at times, but as a collective, the Bath midfield has been very, very strong. Interesting to see if how many of them makes Stuart Lancaster's squad next week.
Yes, and the Scotland squad named shortly as well, and Scott Johnson watching. Vern Cotter, the man in charge, whispered it quietly to Scott. Mistake from that penalty as well, not finding touch from Duncan Weir, so Mickey Young, after a little 1-2, clears. Pyrgos fields well, and Weir and Hogg. No way through there for Hogg. Nakarawa thought better of it that time, but still with Glasgow. Quick hands as well, and Seymour in very little space, little chip, and Seymour trying to get there. The ball bouncing about, and with Glasgow still, wide it goes. There is space out there. Bennett trying to loop it out to Maitland, and Maitland sensing another try, trying to find support. Fasaro scrabbling his way, crawling on. And MacArthur holds up well and gets it to Johnny Gray. And Glasgow within 5 metres of the line. Nakarawa, the fumble from the Fijian. Forward it goes. Bath scrum. Exciting passage of play again.
Great passage of play, but missed opportunity. Glasgow should have got across the line a couple of times there. Bit of composure, bit of quality required at the end. Nakawara gets so close again. We know he's trying to do it, but if he'd held on to it, look how close he is. He could have just gone to the ground. It might have gone over here. Good attack. Look at the way that Duncan Weir attacks the line. Asks real questions of the Bath defence, and this time they were up for the task.
It's interesting watching Nakarawa, because it must be so hard to watch as a coach. Exciting for anybody watching who enjoys rugby, but sometimes you've got to make the right decisions at the right time.
Yeah, it is about decision making, and generally he does it well. We've seen a couple of occasions so far today when he's not. That was, I think, given the benefit that he might have got knocked out of his hand there rather than the actual decision to try and offload. But you wouldn't stop him. If you were Gregor Townsend at Shade Munro, you wouldn't try to stop the offloading game. It's hugely important. But look at this. This is where it works well. This was where it got exposed. And this is where sometimes it can work, sometimes it doesn't, but this is just perfect.
And as a coach, a man after Gregor Townsend's own heart, a different position, but there's the Tooney flip.
There is the Tooney flip. What's that? That's 19 years on, I think, from 95. There he is, the Tooney flip. He started it, but Nakawara's taken on to new levels. Even he would admit that.
They must get the laptops paid for. That's the best product placement I've ever seen. Anyway, Ross Batty has been down, having a bit of treatment, the Bath hooker. But as you said, he was so close to the line there, Nakarawa.
But even without that, Andrew, in a tight game that we think this is going to be, a missed opportunity like that, it really should have been a try. It was a great break by Seymour. The chip could have gone anywhere, but after that, you can hear the match stats. Look at the metres made. Glasgow well in front. Offloads 9-3. Gain line success 20. That means they're getting across the gain line and they're playing on the front foot, which puts the defence in the back foot. Hence why they're 18-10 up and should have been 23, minimum 23, 25-10 up now.
Slightly worried look, or we'll read too much into it depending on the state of the game on Mike Ford's face. But you know, against a side like Bath, they are going to have their chances, so every opportunity has to be taken by Glasgow. And Glasgow again putting a bit of a squeeze on the Bath scrum, but Cece picks up nicely. And a little knock on, and so Glasgow will have the scrum, and just a few too many mistakes from a Bath point of view at the moment.
There is, but they're getting no clap from at the scrum. It looked very evenly matched in the initial when the ball went in, but then Ewan Murray, I think, got the push on at the tight head position and put him under pressure at the back, and CC just struggled at the base of the scrum. So this might be the opportunity. Glasgow didn't go over when they should have. It's a great attacking array. Look at that. Look at the space both sides. And look at the attacking players that Glasgow have both sides. Hogg and Seymour towards us. And then Weir, Horn, Bennett and Maitland over to the open side.
Kyle Eastman is still struggling. I think he is heading for the sidelines.
Because they work very hard. And we play a good contest.
So holding his ribs.
Number 12, white. Yeah, it's here.
So it should be Ollie Devoto coming on, the
Replacement for
young man who can play centre, full-back. He's play a bit of fly half as well. So
replaced by number 22, Ollie Devoto.
He's been a young player, very highly thought of in Bath for a number of years, and he's just slowly getting game time. He's a class act.
was thrown into what has to be a stout defensive effort here for Bath, because, as Andy was saying, look at that attacking position, options either side.
Leeds, crouch.
The cry is Leeds.
Bind.
Let's see what that's code for.
I'd love to be able to tell you.
That Leeds go to ground, earn a free kick. Leeds.
You don't keep the pressure, you move.
I think they'll take the scrum again just because of...
Oh, Pyrgos is away, and here's
He's in,
Hogg, and Hogg's shown. Well, he gave it. It's a try for Glasgow. It's a try for Tommy Seymour, who's... Oh, he's injured. Oh, he's clutching his knee. Well, it's a try for Glasgow, but... I think Tommy Seymour may have hurt himself badly here.
It's a shame that... I don't know if he's actually awarded the try as yet, but he's having a look at it. But I think the irony of Tommy Seymour's injury, I don't think he even had to touch the ball, because Hogg seemed to be over the line before he passed it.
Okay, je regarde.
Yeah, I say Hogg was just had to dive and he would have scored, but worries for Tommy Seymour. We're going to check the grounding of the grounding. I'm not sure. Check the grounding. I think grounding was.
There can't be a problem with the grounding from here. That's a try.
I'm now looking for an injury there.
Oui, Jérôme, il n'y a aucun problème, tu peux accorder.
No problem. Try for Glasgow. Try number 3, and worrying times for Bath. Slightly better signs, I think, for Tommy Seymour. I mean, he's hobbling, but I'm not sure it's quite as grievous an injury as at first thought. But this was the quick take by Pyrgos.
Yeah, you look at it. I mean, Stuart Hogg's almost passing it on the line, but you know it's the right thing to do. But you see, look, Hogg is going to come into vision now. If he just goes to the line, it's an easy try. But as it is, it was an easy try. But in the process, Seymour's been injured. But he is getting back in play. But good play by Henry Pyrgos. The vision, the foresight to get the try that Glasgow deserved for what they missed in the phase previous to that.
There's Seymour hobbling back, but he is going to take his place again on the wing. Oh, it's coming back. Well, came back after the posts. Very difficult kicking conditions with this breeze, but Glasgow with that 13-point lead now. I wonder about Tommy Seymour. I hope he's not going to do himself any more trouble, but he believes he's fine to carry on. And Glasgow 3 tries at the moment, and the restart safely taken in by Seymour. Nakarawa, no offload there. Harley takes a lovely little pop pass from Adam Ash. Weir hits the line at some pace, and Bennett. Bath get brief hands on that, but it's a knock on, so it's going to be a...
It must be a penalty.
Yep, there it is. Bath in front after...
It was Batty. I mean, it came off, I think it was Henson, I think, possibly, at the back. And as soon as that ball comes off the Bath player, it meant that every Bath player who was in front of it was in an offside position and couldn't touch it. But he was just tempted.
Well, this is just the ideal opportunity for Glasgow to get something, another 3 points before the break. It's a tough old kick, though, with some distance and tricky conditions with that wind.
It would be the icing on a cake for a very good 40 minutes for Glasgow Warriors. Even a 13-point lead at half-time would have been happy. To get to 16, I think they'd be very, very happy. It's been really good after a slow start, a disappointing try to give away to Jonathan Joseph. But they'll be very pleased with their efforts in the first 40 minutes.
I think Tommy Seymour's not looking comfortable on this near side touch as Weir prepares to take this. I'm not sure. Tommy Seymour is waving away the physio, but he's still struggling, hobbling around. Weir likes it, but again it's moving and off the posts. No extra score there for Glasgow, but that will be the final kick of this first half. No, the referee is having a look at his watch. There we go, half-time, and Glasgow with a handsome enough lead at half-time. They have 3 tries, one from Bennett, one from Maitland, one from that man. Tommy Seymour is still limping as he leaves the field. Wonderful to see him in the second half, but just 1 try for Bath from Jonathan Joseph. Glasgow 23-10 up. How will it play out in the second half? Join us again in just a few ads time.
Welcome back to Glasgow. Welcome back to the Scottish Stadium, where Bath have been under intense pressure. Glasgow Warriors will be very satisfied. They lead by 23 points to 10. They've been intense everywhere around the field, and Bath have been unable to live with them. They took the lead early on, but it's been all Glasgow since then. Well, what a fantastic half. You've been jumping up and down, doing sprints up the touchline as the Glasgow Warriors have taken this game by the scruff of the neck. We talked about the midfield battle, whether the Glasgow Warriors would be able to compete with the likes of Eastman and Joseph. What a first try.
Oh, it's fantastic. Not a lot known about Mark Bennett, but he has got great feet. He was great in the sevens in the Commonwealth Games, and this is a simple one-on-one. He'll punish you because he has got great feet, and Bath didn't close that gap. Beautiful footwork, talented young player.
As you say, he's not the biggest centre, but my goodness, he finds a gap and he's gone.
He may not be the biggest, but he's got great feet, great heart, and great speed. Good combination.
Okay, well, you're smart about that one. You did look away for the next try, because seconds later, one of your key men, Mr. Hogg, had a bit of a howler.
Oh, yeah, maybe so. It's a typical Bath exit strategy, just a high kick. It's not the easiest conditions there. A good chase, good bounce, good score.
Yeah, and I thought that maybe the Warriors might wobble a bit with the intensity, the pressure of being at home, but far from it. They bounced straight back from this. Joseph obviously doing the business here, and then from there on in, I remember you saying to me, it's all about the set pieces, the scrums and the line-outs. They turned over a scrum, got a penalty, and they've never looked back. And the third try of the match, an absolute beauty.
Yeah, look, it's a stunning bit of rugby, this, but not shown here is the fact that we defended our own line on 2 line-out drives and then turned the ball over with a penalty, got down this part of the field, and they just can't slow our ball down. The back row's not getting into position. We're having a field day. We want speed in this game, and Henry's done a great job at 9 and lifting the tempo. If they don't slow us down, this will be a cricket score.
Yeah, and look, they couldn't get near him, Gavin Henson there, trying to tackle him on the line. I just really thought, well, they'll be happy with that. Bath caught napping at a free kick.
Fantastic, once again, about speed, tempo in a game. Henry's seen this. It's an easy play, but it's about tempo, it's about attitude. The attitude today has been fantastic. It's been first class because they just can't slow us down. We're getting across the advantage line so easy, and the boys are running onto the ball. Great speed. They can't live with us at that tackle area.
Well, poor old Tommy Seymour took a bit of a bang there on the knee, was hobbling just towards the end there. We'll bring you up to date about that injury and, of course, bring you, hopefully, an equally cracking second half. See you in a minute. Welcome back to Glasgow, and welcome back to a very happy Warriors dressing room. Coaches just going through last-minute details for the second half. They'll want to, of course, start just as intensely as they finished the first half. Well on top here, leading by 23 points to 10. London Welsh, remember, will be in action on BT Sport, the European Rugby Challenge Cup this Thursday, with the Kassam Stadium as a Bordeaux team flying out in the top 14. Will take on London Welsh. London Welsh, by the way, beaten 2018 earlier today. They lost to Lyon. Well, we didn't see the Bath dressing room, but I'm delighted to say I've been joined by Neil Hatley. What said in the dressing room, sir?
Just that we need to have a lot more enthusiasm in and around the breakdown. Set piece has been a little bit hit and miss. And if anything, like you say, we've let Glasgow dictate the tempo of that first 40 minutes.
Yeah, Scott's been saying they've just been unable to slow them down. Is that the key there?
I don't think so. We talked about the tempo that they play with, you know, the disappointments you get caught with the quick free kicks. You know, we've talked about these the whole week. But yeah, you know, they've looked to have a lot more intent at the speed at which they play, and we need to make sure we match that second half.
Neil, thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the second half. That's about it. Let's get the latest 18 changes with Andrew Cotter and Andy Nicol.
Thank you, Chris. Bath are the same as in the first half, but Glasgow have made the one change that we thought they might. Tommy Seymour has given up the ghost in his knock to his knee, to his leg, and so DTH van der Merwe, the South African-born Canadian winger, has come on for Tommy Seymour, who was injured in scoring a try as DTH van der Merwe, who is a very, very useful player as well on the wing. He can score a try or two, but Bath have to respond here in this opening game of the European Rugby Champions Cup here on BT Sport. And let's see if they can play with some of the pace and some of the attacking flair that they've shown so far in this on the Premiership season. And Hogg takes it and sends it high. And there's the replacement, Ollie Devoto, who's missing it, trying to get a hand on it now, but it comes back to Glasgow, and Johnny Gray was there, gets it away to Reid. And so Glasgow with the first real chance. Adam Ash in for Josh Strauss today. And Townsend feels that Strauss is a great ball carrier, but Adam Ash offers plenty around the park and a bit of defence as well. Nakarawa, not even he can offload from there. And Weir and on to Johnny Gray again. And a first touch for van der Merwe. That was a good pick-up of a rather short pass. Well done, Johnny Gray. Nakarawa leaves it through the middle, goes Ash, holding it in one hand, looking for support now, finds it infield, then crying outside. Kyrgios can't quite get hands on the ball, now he has it. And Glasgow again finding this space. Nakarawa gets it away again, and now there's space out wide, but the pass is loose. Pizarro tidies it up. Stuart Hogg, little step and a little chip, and for the chase in the corner, and DTH van der Merwe almost gets it, tries to lay it back for Pizarro, but Bath say knock on, and that will be the decision. Well, Glasgow, maybe not. Glasgow celebrating.
Est-ce que tu peux regarder s'il y en a avant du noir?
Okay, those looking for the knock on. But again, the spaces really are appearing for Glasgow.
Huge spaces. Great break by Adam Ash, who looks a real quality player at number 8. But Stuart Hogg went for the little grubber. Let's see what happened, because there was a lot of activity. We'll need to see a different angle to see if that's gone forward.
I'd say in first viewing it looked as if it had gone forward before Pizarro got in there.
This'll tell us. Well, we might not see. Let's see the angle. It's a good little kick. Let's see if he. This is DTH van der Merwe. That's a knock on. I think that, yeah, that's a knock on there.
Yeah, there's the angle to see it. So despite his secondary efforts to get it back to Pizarro.
Décision pour toi. Il y a un avant noir.
There we are. The crowd are cheering, but there was an avant, and back they come. The crowd may boo, but that was a clear knock on.
It was. I just think it was another opportunity. I don't think the big long miss pass that went to ground was required. I think simple hands, the good decision that players made, Peter Horn and Mark Bennett made and Stuart Hogg made for Maitland's try in the first half, just lost them there. Simple hands, I think, would have been an easy try.
Miss passes are they kill so many attacking moves, miss passes, well, unnecessary ones.
Well, they do when you've got space like that, because all it does is allow the defenders to drift easily, and especially when they go to ground and didn't go to hand. So just a missed opportunity.
I wonder if there might be changes for Bath at half-time in the front row, but they're sticking with it. They have the ball, and it goes to ground, but going in at an angle, and a penalty to Bath. So chance for Ford to clear, and it's a good kick as well. Not too much of an angle to play with there, but he's bought Bath some good territory.
Certainly did. That was a good kick, and the annoying thing from a Glasgow Warriors perspective, if they'd just cleared the lines from the scrum with no penalty, then it would have been a Glasgow put-in. But you can see that Glasgow line out, they've not had many, but what they've done is very well. Bath have had much more of the throw-in, and only one have been disrupted, so it has functioned.
Substitution for Bath Rugby coming off, number 15, Gavin Henson.
So Gavin Henson is leaving.
23,
And Horacio Aguja is coming on, the Argentinian wing. But I feel that quiet game for Henson really didn't get a chance to do too much at all. So the line out safely gathered, and Mickey Young popping his head up, having a little look around. And Ford, and there is Joseph, and the pass just a little bit behind Watson, and he's thumped down, but manages to get that ball away. Good strength by Joseph, and just hanging on to it in one hand. Bath need something at the start of the second half. Strength by Sisi. Ford again. A bit of space there. Good offload as well. And the front row combining well, and a chance perhaps for the Fijian winger, Rokan Dunguni, but eventually bundled touchward. I say Fijian winger, but he's featured in the Saxon squad, but again, he hasn't really had a chance to show what he can do.
No, but that was good defence there by DTH van der Merwe, because Rokan Dunguni's been scoring tries for fun in the Aviva Premiership.
He one step on Andrea Masi last week against Wasps.
Unbelievable. In a 3-yard space, he got around him. So good defence.
So pressure on the Glasgow line out. Again, they haven't had too many, but their fourth of the game works well. Tergos chirping away. And he goes round in the loop, and again some space appears, and Hogg and Maitland have such pace. Maitland, a good bit of strength from the New Zealand-born player, and Horn carries it on. A rather loose pass, but running onto it well was van der Merwe. And Weir thinks he sees some space, and it bounces kindly, or rather cruelly, in front of Watson.
Well, that just tells you everything about the state of mind of Glasgow Warriors. Their exit strategy was to go for an intricate move in their own 22 to allow Stuart Hogg some space, and then they recycled it, and then the kick comes, and look now, the territory they've now gained. It's now a Bath line out in the 22. Great intent, great ambition from Glasgow Warriors.
So Batty will try and hit his man again, a short and safe one. Atwood at the front.
More form.
And so Bath try and get a bit of a maul rolling on, and they do make some ground. And wide it goes, and Ford just gets that kick away. DTH van der Merwe is waiting. There's some pressure coming on from Rokondamguni, and he does his bit to get his opposite number into touch.
That was a very good kick. Very well placed, well weighted, knowing that DTH van der Merwe, when he took it, was going to get man and ball. Rokondamguni into touch.
Just while I watch the replay, I will give you, you can see why he's winded there.
What DTH stands for, Andy. Come on, testing it.
I have heard, but I know that looks like a stretch on the groin there.
Yikes.
Go on, Andrew, impress me.
Daniel Talifera Hauman.
I thought it was
tumbleweed. But you say it was a beautifully placed kick from Ford, because he was under pressure as well. Van der Merwe, he's a strong old unit, the Canadian international. He's South African born, but he's back in position and ready to go again. Bath line out. And good steal by Glasgow. Things are going their way still in this second half. The pass is being whipped out. And well scooped up by Horn to Harley. Johnny Gray. And Weir, and again, but not quite the same result. This time Watson can take it, and the winger sends it long and taken in by Peter Horn, stretching for it Weir. And here is Hogg again. He's had plenty of chance to run and kick a bit as well today. And Ford can take it, but again, well placed that kick, and Van der Merwe this time doing the ushering towards touch.
Initially, when the kick went up, I thought it'd come off the side of Stuart Hogg's foot here, but as it turned out, it was well placed yet again, and there's no way George Ford could do anything other than just be bundled into touch.
Well, more rugby to come in this European Rugby Champions Cup on BT Sport and BT Sports 2. Leicester Ulster tonight at 7 o'clock. Looking forward to that one. 13 points the difference between these two sides. 3 tries to Glasgow in the first half, 1 to Bath. Loose from Glasgow this time at the line out, but a little knock forward there from Bath, and Glasgow have the scrum.
You've got to say though, Andrew, with 3 tries and that opportunity just at the start of the second half, that maybe could have taken it 30 points to 10. That could have been the game. Glasgow Warriors now have to get the bonus point here. I think it's right in their opportunity here. And Bath just are not playing well at all, really. They're making the changes, though.
Well, this quite often happens, that they give the front row 5 minutes. I mean, they've given them 8 minutes here in the second half. You think you almost might as well make the changes. That's Webber and Paul James coming on. You might almost make the changes at half-time, but they let them start the second half, and then Webber will come on at hooker for Batty, and Paul James coming on for Nick Otarak. It's not been an easy afternoon for that new front row.
But make no mistake, that strengthens the Bath front row. So this scrum will be, it's the right time to make the call from Mike Ford to get them on, because they can put Glasgow now under severe pressure at this scrum.
Well, 13 points is far from unassailable lead with over half an hour to go. Bath will hope that they can start to get a platform from the set piece.
Crouch. Bind. Set. No, one. Yeah, you don't find the stability. Both teams, okay? You don't find the stability. Both teams.
Looking for a bit of stability. See how deep the Glasgow backline is standing there.
Crouch. 2, 3. Bind. set.
But they need the ball first of all. On Bath there, well there we are. Instant change perhaps. Not a good shove on there, but Glasgow's ball. And still a chance for them to come, and carried well by Van der Merwe, coming in off his left wing. But then the misjudgment, and Maitland having a disagreement with Devoto.
Henry Purgus has had a very, very good 50 minutes. He's been electric around the base. He's brought the tempo and the pace to the Warriors team, not just the back line.
I'm just watching. David Wilson is going to come on now. I just wonder why he didn't get let on with the other. He didn't want to change the whole front row. And Peter Stringer is going to come on at scrum half as well. 36-year-old wily Peter Stringer is coming on. There he is. So he comes on at scrum half for Mickey Young, and Dave Wilson completes the front row changes, coming on for Henry Thomas.
Peter Stringer must be old if I played against him, but what an experienced player. 2 Heineken Cup wins with Munster. Had tried down a Cardiff down the blind side against Biarritz.
Oh, that's a mess though for a while. Stuart Hooper coming in, stretched out an arm and slapped it away.
Third look on right.
Scrum to Glasgow is the ultimate decision. I just wonder how encouraged the Bath coaches will have been by just that little snippet of scrum, the last scrum.
Yeah.
First look on the line out. Black.
I'm now trying to remember the law book to see, can you slap the ball out of a player's hand? And what is that? Got to be a deliberate knock on, surely. But it went backwards. Over to you, Andrew.
Let's play on. This is interesting. Bath certainly beginning to get the heave in the scrum, and they have the penalty, they have the ball, and that is a big moment perhaps in the game, because that was Glasgow's ball and suddenly they're creaking in the scrum.
Very much so. 3 new front row for Bath. It's the same 3 for Glasgow. I wonder if that'll precipitate a change now from the Warriors. But you could just see yet again there was no hook, and under severe pressure now, this is where you would be wanting them to think, right, as soon as the ball's in, let's get it to the back and get it out.
Well, from ref cam, you can see the pressure that Glasgow are under here. Just a look at the changes that Bath have made. In that front row we talked about Devoto, Batty and Thomas, and they have gone. James Webber, Wilson on, Devoto's on, Stringer's on as well. But the line-out's still a source of not too much pleasure for Bath. Pyrgos, he was looking for the bounce. Stringer, though, is there, and Anthony Watson. Nakarawa can't quite get a limb to him, and Watson into space now, trying to step around his man, and away he goes. Lovely play by the wing. He has support now as well. And Bath back into the Glasgow half. Things beginning to go the way of the visitors. Turnover though. But there's no doubt there is more pressure coming on from Bath now. So Pyrgos sends it down the line, and in field it goes now on the breeze, and Ford takes it well. There's good strength, wonderful offload. Rocco and Joseph there, and Stringer moves it again to Ford and on. Rob Webber, the replacement hooker, and Wilson linking. The front row boys have made an impact already, the changes for Bath, and there's Webber again. Plenty of time in the ball now for Bath. Devoto, the replacement centre for Kyle Eastman, had to go off. Ford and Weir were in a long after the ball had gone disagreement on the floor. For Bath trying to get a little bit of go forward. They're buzzing about at the moment, and there is the space appearing for Ford. Out in the open, he's got support inside from Rocco, but he goes to ground, and Bath now coming forward, looking at their options. Stringer, there's Devoto, and wide to Jonathan Joseph. Dom Day infield, Offloads to Hooper, and the captain up to the 22. Better now from Bath. And Cisse carries. Stringer down on the ground, but gets it away to Devoto, and through the middle. This is a break from Okundunguni, the winger, coming into midfield. Bath beginning to step things up, and Glasgow being stretched. And a penalty as well. Glasgow not rolling away. Bath have the penalty, and the decision, quick take by Stringer. Gives it short to Atwood. Within 5 metres, Bath, again, not going for goal, needing the try. Still a long way to go in this match, though, but they know the momentum is with them, the wind in their sails, and the try line is getting closer and closer, and over, surely. Stuart Hooper stretching as he's short and turned over.
Advantage Black.
A little knock on. Glasgow have the ball, and they're spared again.
Black.
Adam Ashen, the number 8, to play scrum half, which gives Hogg not too much time, and a rather scooped and lofted clearance kick.
No advantage.
So no advantage. They'll come back for that penalty again. Glasgow, well, they're hanging on by their fingernails at the moment.
Yeah, indeed, but great defence,
Time
I have
off.
to say. Once George Ford got
Black
through,
2 and Black
you could
4.
just see it was a knock on there by Hooper right on the line. But up to that point, there'd been some fantastic defence
8
by
wide,
Glasgow.
Just the arm of Ewan Murray coming in there, dislodging it from Hooper.
8.
I think we're going to see some changes, but this was Watson from running out from his own line. A great step on Harley there. This kid has got real talent. And, you know, the changes in the front row have just sparked an improvement, a big improvement in Bath Rugby's performance here. George Ford, look at this, attack the line. The defence up to that stage had been really solid, but he just saw the one gap there was. Just got away with that. I think Bath had no more, but then the defence was really, really solid.
Just as some changes are made, I'll remind you that tomorrow on BT Sport 2 HD, 4:30, Leinster against Wasps, and some highlights from round 1. That should be a good game at the RDS. The changes that have been made too for Glasgow. The offloader has gone. Well, there's Dougie Hall and the Tim Swinson. Dougie Hall's come on for Pat MacArthur and Hooker, and Nakarawa has gone in the second row to replace by Tim Swinson. You also saw there as well that Dave Cisse has been replaced by Charlie Ewells, who is going to make his club debut now.
Big scrum here, because the last scrum resulted in a penalty for Bath, and look where it is.
Well, if they get the penalty, they'll just take the scrum and scrum and scrum again. Glasgow just want to get this out here. Stringer manhandles Pyrgos, and Glasgow do get it away, but closer to touch. Pyrgos just asking Johnny Gray and the forwards to do a bit. And Pyrgos with Hogg and Weir sitting so deep has to clear himself, and that's a good kick. It really is a very, very good kick, almost up to halfway.
That is a very good kick. Henry Pyrgos has controlled everything. He's made the balance really good between passing it to Duncan Weir and kicking it. The exit strategy from the Warriors is always for the 9 to take the box kick after a couple of hits up, and that was a very good kick. That was never intended to stay in field. It was a good clearing kick.
7 Black. Number 7.
But the complexion, the feel of the game has totally changed, and you can hear, or rather you can't hear, the Scotstoun crowd, and the silence is music to the ears of Bath. So Joseph tries to carry through the middle, and Stringer and Ford and Devoto. There's Ford again, and on to Mercer. So much more ball to play with, and there's an early touch for Charlie Ewells, the 19-year-old. And Davy Wilson rumbling on. Good carry, powerful Rob Webber. It's a phase after phase, just prodding and poking away. See some good tackles coming in from the Warriors. And there is Hooper. So at the moment they're not making too much ground, Bath, but they have the penalty.
So that was a stupid penalty, because to be fair, up to that point, Bath, lots of ball, but they're just nothing really easy to defend against. All Glasgow had to do was just make the one-up tackles.
And suddenly Bath have a chance to buy a very easy 30 metres.
I think Fusaro got a bad knock there, a head knock, and I'm not sure quite he knew where he was. I think you can see Tyrone Holmes getting ready to come on. I think we'll see the change in the back row with Holmes on for Fusaro.
Well, the line-out will be deep into the Glasgow 22, and that change is going to happen now. There is Tyrone Holmes, South African-born back rower.
Substitution for Glasgow Warriors, coming off number 7, Chris Fusaro.
And Chris Fusaro feeling the effects, throwing himself around as usual.
But Andrew, the game has completely changed since Glasgow failed to score that gilt-edge opportunity at the start of the second half when DTH Van der Merwe knocked on just short of the line. If that had been scored, as I said, I think that was game over. Bonus point and a great start. Now, at 13 points, if Bath were to get a point here, a try here with all this pressure, then it's a very, very different last quarter of this match.
The line-out hasn't been too impressive from Bath so far, but Webber on now and goes safely to his skipper, Stuart Hooper. And down she goes, so Stringer having a look around. Just held at the back there, and pass goes loose. And seized upon by Duncan Weir. Pyrgos again under pressure, goes high, not too much ground gained, and bounces around, and Maitland takes it. Nobody there for Bath, and now Glasgow trying to get width on it. Fine, says the referee, and Weir again, that space beginning to appear behind Rocco and Guni. And Rocco Duguni with his clearing kick. But play will still be just inside the Bath half. A rare moment of respite in the last 10-15 minutes for Glasgow, getting into the Bath half.
In some ways they've almost stopped playing. There's been a lot of kicking from Duncan Weir for territory, and all that does is just give the ball back to Bath there. But here now, with that kick back from Bath, it gives them a line out just inside the Bath half, maybe to get some of their systems going, start playing their offloading game, because they need to start playing again.
Dougie Hall, replacement hooker, to Harley, and a good strength by Adam Ash. He's had a lively game at number 8. And there's Swinson, replacement second row. And Maitland almost making his way through again, and he is clear now. Maitland out into the open, shrugging off the tackles. Again, trying to find the support and linking well. And Swinson crashing on, and Glasgow into the 22. Just slows down for a moment, and Ash tries to pick up the pace again. And suddenly a bit more noise from Scotstoun, and Pyrgos so nearly through. But the ball lost forward. And Bath have the scrum.
It's like a switch has just been flicked there. The whole Glasgow team just came to life under the ball there. Maitland has been a very, very good day, but Henry Pyrgos, he's been at the centre of everything. He just had a big, exuberant dummy, and off he went. Sometimes when you do that, unless you get right through, you can get exposed. Look at that, it's a massive dummy. There's not many blue shirts around him. And an attempt to try, and that was actually Rob Harley off his boot. That actually didn't come forward, off a hand. This is Maitland, look at his strength. He's a deceptively strong player, Sean Maitland. And a great runner, really balanced runner when he gets going.
Well, everyone talks about his speed. He's actually a big man as well.
Very much so.
And again, against the flow of the game over the last 15 minutes or so, but we're getting into the final quarter now, and still no score in this second half.
But the key for Glasgow in that last 15 minutes, when they were under the cosh and Bath had a lot of possession, was they didn't concede a point. I mean, we showed, at the start of the second half, we showed the Glasgow changing room. That was Matt Taylor, the defence coach, who was speaking to the players, and they absolutely take pride in their defence here at Glasgow Warriors, and it's actually the basis for their whole game. As Scott Johnson said at half-time, the try that Sean Maitland scored at the first half was a result of the defence that had been shown at the other end of the park.
Well, more changes coming on, and a couple of interesting ones, because Henry Pyrgos, the Glasgow captain, is off. I'll tell you about the Bath one here. David Mercer's going off, and Tom Ellis is on. He's really a lot forward. So he's a youngster. He's making his debut. But this man is always entertaining to watch because Nico Matawalu is on at scrum half for Henry Pyrgos. So we talk about the offloading of Nakarawa in the first half. Well, Matawalu is something else. Sometimes, again, he has coaches tearing their hair out, but look out for him.
To say he is the fans' favourite is an understatement. They love him here at Scotstoun. An outstanding player when he's firing.
Pyrgos has certainly played well, but the captain is off. It's Bath scrum, and again, they certainly seem to have the shovel on there. It's wheeling round, and Matawalu waiting, but Bath just walking forward now, and they get the penalty. And again, deep inside their own 22, but even from there, their scrum is giving them luxuries now.
Still, the front row, the two props, Ewan Murray, Gordon Reid, are still in the park, and the last three scrums have gone for penalties. I think the changes are going to happen.
As that penalty clears, you'll see it sailing over the head of the replacement prop for Glasgow, Jerry Yanutawa. As they're trying something, Gordon Reid is going to leave on the loose head, and Yanutawa is coming on. Hey, look, UFC Beyond the Octagon, Tuesday, 9 o'clock. Looking forward to that one. I am genuinely thrilled to have him. Conor McGregor, one of the rising stars of the sport, is going to be a guest on that one. 9 o'clock on Tuesday. Gordon Reid, don't know if he's done any UFC in his time. He is leaving. Yanutawa is on, the Fijian in the front row, but Glasgow need some ballast in the scrum. But again, time is beginning to be against Bath, because for all their ascendancy in the second half, they still haven't scored. That's a beautifully placed kick, though. And Hogg watches it, thinks about taking it, but comes back for the more settled affair. But again, into the Glasgow 22.
Yeah, it's been a solid performance for George Ford today. He's just controlled things, but you know, he's not been too inventive until one break, and that's a sign of a good 10. When nothing much was happening, he just attacked the line and went through the gap. He needs to prove some inspiration in the last 16 minutes if Bath are going to get back in this game.
That's taken down safely by Tim Swinson. And you look at this field position here, and a moment ago it was in the Bath 22, but again, that was through the weakness of the Glasgow scrum. Comparatively good drive there, the wonderful play, and DTH Van der Merwe almost away. Glasgow exiting their 22 superbly there. Matawalu and Weir, and there's plenty of space there. Is the kick overcooked by a long way? It is, and that's wasteful.
It was the right decision, but the wrong execution, because Rockin was in for the defence after Glasgow came out the 22. Look at the acres of space. There's nobody there. That's a poor kick from Duncan Weir, because that's an over kick by about 20-30 metres, and he knows it.
15 minutes to go here in this first pool match in Pool 4 in the European Rugby Champions Cup. We've got Toulouse against Montpellier. They're playing tomorrow. 15 minutes to go. 13 points the difference. Bath, plenty of ball in the second half. And Devoto, with strength from the young centre, on for Kyle Eastman in that first half. And there's Jonathan Joseph, try scorer for Bath. The only try so far for the visitors. Glasgow dearly love a fourth try, but hanging on for the win might be the priority at the moment. Aguja, the Argentinian, gets it to ground. And Jonathan Joseph, play on, says the referee. He was trying to show that one up. Matawalu now stepping, and little kick off the outside of the boot for the chasers. Maitland's a flyer, but can't quite get there. Now it's free, and now three Glasgow players trying to get Matawalu. Dummy in the score! Nico Matawalu makes it, and Glasgow have their fourth try. What a bit of skill from the Fijian.
That's the spark that Glasgow Warriors needed. There's almost a smile there from Gregor Townsend, but that's the bonus point, and it's what their play for maybe the first 45 minutes deserved. The last 15 they've been having to defend. But Nico Matawalu comes off the bench, and he's just electric. This is it. We can see the ball comes out there. Joseph lets it goes out. Good play by Swinson. Reserve second row to get the turnover. And then Matawalu just comes to life. Watch this.
I love this kick. It's off the outside of the boot.
He knows exactly what he was doing here. As Mark Bennett going back, George Ford can't control it. And there it is. I thought he was going to pass that to Maitland. And what a dive at the end there. Look at that. Exuberance personified. That is why he is the favourite here at Scotstoun. They absolutely love him for that very reason.
So his try, little BP appears. Bonus point try for Glasgow. And now the game may be beyond Bath. Still 13 minutes to go, but this for a 20-point lead. Trying to come round in the wind a little bit too much, but in off the posts, and Glasgow hit 30 points. And Matawalu, his skills, they are rare. It was the turnover. Joseph trying to keep it in. Swinson got in there off the outside of the boot. For Bennett and Maitland and himself to chase. Look at this dummy. Oh, I'll have it myself, thank you. Showman to the last. And Glasgow now will have a little bit of confidence about them. And Horn gives it to Hogg, and Hogg kicking and chasing. And Bath players just lumbering back there a little bit forward. Gets it away to Watson, but black and blue shirts quickly up there and around. White shirts piling in though and securing it. And advantage to Bath.
Advantage white.
So they have the penalty, but they'll have to run everything now anyway. They need tries, and a little bit of a high tackle in there on Atwood as well, coming back for that penalty.
Just real intensity about the Warriors play now. You could see everyone desperate to chase the grubber kick through. Sometimes that enthusiasm can overspill, and a penalty was taken away. But you can see the action areas, very evenly balanced for this for the whole game. But for the last 15-20 minutes, it's been all Bath. So Glasgow will be very happy by how they kept Bath out for that 15-20 minutes running under the cosh, and then went down the other end and got the try.
Final changes made in the front row. Russell de Klerk coming on for Ewan Murray on the Glasgow tight head. As Glasgow got a couple of props still to come back, and Ryan Grant and John Welsh. But Bath now looking for anything from the final 11 minutes of this match. And Devoto to Joseph. And Stringer to Ford and on to Atwood, and the ball goes behind Dom Day, who was hit by Ash. A little bit untidy again. Taken in by Ellis.
No! The ball is here. No hands.
There's Joseph. Not too much doing through the middle. Devoto trying to set it back. Ford in good hands there. And Aguja. And still going, the Argentinian. One through the middle, Rob Webber building up a top speed. 6 miles an hour. Stringer gets it away, and Bath still attacking, but then lost forward. Oh, and a beautifully timed offload. And Bennett is there, and Bennett looking for support now. Has it from DTH Van der Merwe. Van der Merwe toying with Rokandunguni, and then puts in the kick. And I think, is it going to be a try? I thought perhaps he was in front of the man, celebrating. Bennett gets it down, but I wonder if he just overrun the kicker.
I think it's very tight. Watching it live, I think it's very tight.
Et devant le joueur ou derrière le joueur?
Je comprends ta question, pas de problème.
Yeah.
But yet again, just such an exuberant bit of play there from Glasgow, which will so delight Gregor Townsend. Brilliant defence, turnover ball, and then the speed comes in, and the ambition to play off turnover ball.
Great counter-attackers, Glasgow, but he was asking in front or behind the kicker. So Jérôme Garcès looking up at the big screen, sees only himself at the moment. But here we are for you, Jérôme.
So we're looking at Mark Bennett, number 13. He's behind the line. No, he's in front. Oh, I think that's lateral. We'll see maybe a different angle.
I think a large part of Bennett was in front of him, but it was just a little delay in the kick from DTH van der Merwe, which I thought he was going to do it
so
here.
I thought he was going to kick there, and he would have been fine.
You see the colour of the grass there, the darker grass. I think they're almost right in line, but you need to see it from side on, because from that angle Bennett looks in front. But
so we see here that if you use the 15-yard line, he kicks at the end of the 15-yard line, and let's just see where from the line out. There, he kicks it there. Where's Mark Bennett in relation?
Well, they're both right on the line of the cut of the grass.
Surely the advantage, I would say, goes with the attacking team.
Oui, Jérôme. Pour moi, le hors-jeu n'est pas clair et évident. Tu peux accorder l'essai. Ils sont sur la même ligne.
Same line. So
tu peux valider l'essai.
So it's a second try for Bennett. It is a fifth try for Glasgow. They are out of sight. They're heading for a handsome victory here at Scotstoun. And Bath are being battered.
Great turnover there. Dougie Hall, Tyrone Holmes. Holmes made the kick, the tackle, and then look at that Mark Bennett. I've been really impressed with him today and last week. And look at the energy the DTH has brought on from half-time. Looking around. Great little chip. He's in line, according to the referee, and he touches it down. Great score by Glasgow Warriors and Mark Bennett.
A second try for Mark Bennett. He's certainly in the radar of Scotland's coaching setup. Now to Duncan Weir. This one is good, and Glasgow 37 points. Bath 10.
It was a great finish. Awareness of what was around. They must practice it because Stuart Hogg did it at the start of the second half. There's the support. There's the satisfaction from what's been a very, very good performance by Glasgow.
Well, they weathered the storm in the second half because Bath was certainly gaining the upper hand, and that set-piece advantage gave them the momentum, but nothing came of it for the visitors. Matawalu tries to get around to Rosso de Klerk.
Every good side, Andrew, every successful side that wins championships, wins trophies, will base their performance on their defence. And that's what Glasgow Warriors had to do there in that 15-20-minute period in the middle of the second half. And then they came back and scored with two outstanding tries.
Finn Russell has come on at fullback for Stuart Hogg. Finn Russell usually plays fly half, but there he is by the posts.
Crouch. Bind. Sit.
Penalty to Bath, and Stringer away. Wants to get going, wants to get something for Bath, and Ford Devoto had overrun him and couldn't use him, but the tackle still raining in hard. Bath looking for something from this match. Atwood. Jonathan Joseph. His turn to spill, but it went backwards, so still with Bath. Rokundunguni. And Stringer with some heavy men in the fly-half position, and Dom Day, and then Joseph, and chance for Watson to come in off the wing. And holding on to the ball and coming in at the side, a penalty to Glasgow. Good hands, Jérôme Garcès. Nothing working for Bath. It's been a pretty poor performance for Bath. Glasgow played well, but Bath have not been at their best at all today.
No, they haven't. I was expecting great things from their backs in particular, but a couple of breaks from George Ford and Anthony Watson has been the sum total of all the possession they've had, and this has been the problem. Glasgow have dominated the contact and the tackle situation. Chris Frassara when he was on, and then Tyrone Holmes, Dougie Hall, there's all these guys are getting in, and Glasgow have definitely won the tackle count, the tackle situation.
Well, penalties conceded. Well, Glasgow have actually conceded more.
They have, but a lot of those penalties have been deep in the Bath 22, and you could argue it doesn't really matter.
There is Finn Russell. A lot of people suggesting he is the future for Scotland at fly half. There is Duncan Weir, who's pretty much the man in possession at the moment.
I am one of those people as well. I've been really impressed with Finn Russell when he broke on the scene last year, and he just seemed to have the composure from a young man who hadn't a real exposure to big games, and every game he just got better and better.
Doesn't look too good for Duncan Weir at the moment. Actually, talking about injuries, I know that Mike Ford's side has a few injury problems, not least in the back row, but looking at Glasgow's injuries, and a lot of players to come back. Alex Dunbar in the centre, Sean Lamont's out today, Richie Vernon, Josh Strauss, Ryan Grant, John Welsh. Ryan Wilson is still out in the back row as well, but these were the second half tries for Glasgow. First of all, Matawalu.
Yeah, just a great little grubber. Notice both tries have come through grubber kicks, which clearly is a tactic they will practice with Gregor Townsend.
So Russell with the clearing kick. And the second try for Glasgow in the second half.
Match attendance at Scotstoun Stadium is still at 6,746.
It is just the end. A grubber kick will always bounce on the third or fourth bounce. Did twice there into a gleeful Glasgow player.
6 minutes remaining in this match. And Glasgow far beyond the horizon for Bath. Matawalu doing a lot of shouting and pointing, as scrum halves do. And look at him, he's just hiding. Asking for a push as well. Bennett feeling the tackles there. Hasn't Mark Bennett played well? As has Ash. Matawalu fancies a little chip through himself, and Harley takes it on. His chase, but coming across well is Watson. And Aguja. There's Rob Webber, and he's been pretty powerful since he's come on. Joseph, long pass out to Rokundanguni. Meets DTH van der Merwe. Paul James picks it up, and Atwood is there. And there's a fight going on off the ball, and so the referee is going to stop things. It's right in front of the touch judge. And so ignore all this, and just out of shot, there's all sorts of nonsense going on.
Whatever happened, it was 3 against 1. 3 Bath players to DTH van der Merwe.
23.
It looked like Anthony Watson, Roka Dunguni, and Dom Day.
Dom Day is being, it's just Dom Day is being called forward with DTH van der Merwe and a Chris Packett.
Can you come down, please? Can you come down? Okay. The game is here. We play here. You stay here. Okay. Come down.
I think that's fairly sensible from Jerome Garces. I know the crowd are booing, and we might have a look at the replay of that, but at this stage of the game, there's a huge amount of frustration for Bath, which never excuses anything, but we'll perhaps have a look at the replay, see what went on.
This has been a real marker set down by Glasgow Warriors, because they've played well, winning the first 5 out of the 6 games in the Guinness Pro 12. But in Europe, as we've said a lot during the day, they've not really performed in the last couple of years. So this is a huge marker they've set down here to go into play Montpellier next week away, and then back-to-back games against Toulouse. Started off with a bonus point win at home. It's been a fantastic victory for Glasgow Warriors.
I'm going to ask you shortly for man of the match, Andy. Just keep it to yourself just now. Build the suspense. 4 minutes to go. Glasgow looking for another try. Harley slaps it down to ground, but it goes safely to Glasgow hands. And up almost within 5 meters of the Bath line again. Matawalu with the instructions. Down the blind side they go. Little pop to DTH van der Merwe. Well, Nico Matualu is not best pleased. Peter Horn has to do it from deep now, and they're rather isolated there.
No, the gate.
And didn't come in through the gate, the Glasgow players, so a bit of a wasted opportunity there.
You are from the side. 21.
So clearance kick from Bath into touch. It goes right. Time for man of the match, Andy.
Well, there's been many good players for Glasgow Warriors. Adam Ash, I thought, up in front has been really good. Mark Bennett scored 2 tries and been very good. But for me, player that just controlled things for 60 minutes before he was substituted was Henry Purgis. So Henry Purgis is my Heineken man of the match.
And he's just being playfully punched by his teammates. There we are. Because they can see it on the big screen.
Heineken man of the match, won by Henry Purgis.
The stadium announcer gets his name wrong. There we go, Joseph through the middle. Henry Purgis is the man of the match. The Heineken man of the match, as it still is. 27 points the difference at the moment into the final 2 minutes of this game. And Stuart Hooper, captain, does his best. It's a big thump coming in on the chest of Ollie Devoto. Aguja hitting the line at pace, and great strength from the Argentinian out into the open, but his chip goes only to Finn Russell, and he returns it. Aguja's done some damage in midfield, though. Glasgow players feeling that. And deep into 22. Thought it was Tyrone Holmes who felt the hit of Aguja in midfield there. Still down. Have a look at that in a minute. Just a minute to go in this match. And Bath just finally give up the ghost in the running and send it long with a boot of Jonathan Joseph. Half fumble from Van der Merwe. But we're going to stop it for that injury.
That was Aguja, just went straight into Tyrone Holmes there. You can see he's holding his arm, shoulder. But you know, as I said earlier, the defence that Glasgow Warriors, that'll be the most pleasing aspect for Gregor Townsend, I think, here. Look at that. I mean, that's power.
He's a barrel of a man, isn't he? He's square.
He's just gone down his right shoulder or elbow. But the defence has been outstanding for Glasgow Warriors. You think the Bath have only scored 1 try, and it came from a mistake when Stuart Hogg dropped the ball. And Bath have been scoring tries for fun in the Aviva Premiership. They've been getting bonus point victories almost every week up until last weekend. And so this has been an outstanding defensive performance, which has allowed them then to bring their attacking game to the party as well and score the 4 tries, the 5 tries.
A rather weary look from Townsend at a knock to Tyrone Holmes. Tim Swinson also feeling the effects of the physicality in the last few minutes. But there's Al Kelly. He is the club captain, but he can't get in the side at the moment. So ready for the final minute of this match, which is far, far beyond doubt. It's going to be a handsome victory for Glasgow. And a far wider margin as well than many would have expected in this match. It just hasn't, nothing has worked for Bath really today.
No, they've been a far second, and full credit to Glasgow Warriors for making them that way.
No, it's not stable.
And they've had dominance in the scrum in the second half. Yeah, 37-10, they've not scored a point in the second half.
Come on, guys.
So seconds tick away. This will be the final passage of play. Nico Matualu making friends with the referee. And he'll just win the ball here, Glasgow, and get it out, unless Matualu has other plans. Oh, free kick to Bath is the decision, so Bath will have the final foray into the Glasgow half, and Watson. The irony if they could score now in dead time, a try which would mean nothing at all.
It would mean a lot to Glasgow Warriors to keep them out for this whole 40 minutes.
Joseph gives it out to Aguja. Stringer, and the ball goes loose, but it's, well, that is full-time, and an overwhelming victory for Glasgow. They have scored 5 tries. They have totally dominated a Bath side who have sadly for them offered very little today, but it is a flying start for Glasgow.
It's been a fantastic start for Glasgow, and it was based on strong defence. And once they had that platform, they kept Bath out, then they just went down the all around, and they've got players that will